Good evening. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills for our Healing and Revealing Meditation service. So good of you to join us online on YouTube as we are continuing to live stream our meditation service with the help of Mr. Michael Carlin, who is safely distanced about 30 feet from me, so have no fear. And you're safe at home where you should be, so good for you. And good for us, for the consciousness of wanting to come together in a group meditation, right? So we're all joined in mind, and so it's a lovely way to come together and to reset. And tonight I need one, and so, but I'll get into that a little later. So let's just start by checking our seat and getting out all our giggles and jiggles and wiggles. And if you're meditating with someone tonight, you can just turn to them and just say, "It's so fabulous for you to be here tonight." All right, so let's just start by taking a deep, conscious breath. And just release, and in that release, we're just surrendering to this moment, this eternal now moment, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. That fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. And so I have behind me the flames of faith that have already been lit. The first candle is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, online, and in our own hearts. And as I have behind me, maybe over my shoulder from how you're sitting, we have the healing candle. So please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. And so in this moment, we can just take a deep breath and just raise and praise all of our frontline workers as we work through this challenge of the COVID pandemic, that we raise and praise our frontline healthcare workers, our nurses, our doctors, emergency techs, EMTs, the support staff in the hospital, the administration, the insurance folks, all of these various components that serve the health system, that we raise and praise all people who are delivering food and mail and whatever our basic needs are, that we raise and praise them. The folks who are manning the stores and the gas stations and just all of those people who are out there now serving us so that we can stay safe at home. And for anyone suffering from the effect of this disease, their families, their spiritual communities, we just take a moment of silence now and in remembrance. So taking a deep breath. And so what we can know in this moment together is to remember and recognize that there's only one power, one presence, one source, one life of all. This is the infinite mind of the divine itself expressing in, through, and as existence. And so as we know this truth intellectually, we allow that now to fall into the secret chamber of the heart and connect with that flame of the divine within. As we recognize and know that this evening that we have come together to share in consciousness an expression, a demonstration of healing through the practice of meditation, that we are allowing this experience to unfold precisely the way it unfolds, that whatever experience we have tonight is perfect, that we just accept it, free of judgment, free of a sense of not doing it right, or even any sense of fidgeting or agitation, that we're just good with all of it. Because there's no wrong way to pray, and there's no wrong way to meditate. The fact that you are here and sitting is enough. And so for this word and the word held within the hearts of anyone listening or watching, we just take a deep breath. And we release and allow that release to release our intentions, our word, our feelings, our cares and concerns unto that aspect of the mind of the divine itself that knows only to say yes. So we just release it to its divine unfoldment, knowing that in doing so, it's already done. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. And so it is a crazy time right now. I was visiting with my neighbor, for just a moment. Can you turn down the sound for a second, Mike? Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze. So I was visiting with my neighbor across the street. You know, we're usually so busy we don't have time to check in. And we're about the same age, and we were just talking about, when we were kids, we could have never imagined this moment So we're both in our 60s, so we're certainly closer to the finish line than the starting line. And just to think that this is where we would end up at 60 plus is just, it's a mind blower. And there's, of course, so many opinions. There's some, even with the science that we have, there's so much that we don't know. And then there's a lot of disinformation being floated around out there. And so it's hard to know what the truth is. And if we continue to explore it, we may find that we get agitated. And then it becomes difficult to calm our mentality. So even here at the center, we've had some vandalism up on the roof, which we discovered right before we started the meditation. So I'm a little aggravated right now because, well, let's just say the contractor is just below the surface, awaiting to rear its more reactive side. And it's not really a side that I'm afraid of per se, but it's really the side that I really choose not to allow to express. And so meditation has been very helpful for a character of my type, because it helps create some space to where I can respond. So I got all my coarse language out on the roof, and Mike Carlin's always good for that because he just laughs. So anyway, so here we are. Right? So now it's time to clear, right? Because this is what we know. We know that everything that we experience in life really is an expression of mental activity, right? And that all of the thoughts that we have are a result of our own perceptions and our own structures of knowing, some which we have created consciously and most that we have not. And so meditation allows us the opportunity to simply observe. And so sometimes our meditation may be agitated as as they say in 12-step, the grouch and the brainstorm take over our mental activity. The brainstorm as in stormy activity rather than sharing ideas. And in fact, in 12-step, they call the grouch and the brainstorm are the dubious luxury of normal men. So, last week we were working with Resist Not with Joel Goldsmith. So I'm just going to pick up with that and by repeating the last paragraph. So the master, the carpenter, understood this clearly when he said, "Why callest thou me good? I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works." And so it is with us. So it is with us. Power is not really given to us, but if we can come to a state of mind in which we are so cradled in the Spirit that we do not resist the seeming error by denying, fighting, or trying to destroy it, we too shall witness the wondrous things which the Father within performs. And isn't that what we want? Isn't this the unspoken longing within all of us. This is what we're longing to experience. And so he goes on to say, he being Joel Goldsmith, a consciousness must be built in which the response to any problem that is presented to us is this. Look, here it is in my mind. Are you listening, Mike? Here it is in my mind. I'm looking at it. It isn't benefiting me. It isn't hurting me. It's a shadow. I know the world has said that this thing is a power, that it can kill, destroy, or weaken, but I say it is a shadow because in a God-created world, it cannot be a power. And I do not need any power. I do not even need a power to destroy it or overcome it or remove it. So human existence is based on a belief or trust in two powers, and even religion is based on the power of God over evil. But in heaven there are no powers of good and evil. Now think about that. In heaven, there are no powers of good or of evil. There is only God itself. Right? So there's only God consciousness itself expressing, living its own life as you and as me, and yes, even as coronavirus. As a heavenly universe. The very moment we can demonstrate the Master's teaching of resist not evil, we shall no longer spend our days, as most of the world is doing, chasing, searching, and begging for a power to do something. And competing with everyone and everything else in the world. When we realize this new principle, not a new power, but a new principle, a new dimension of life. We live in a world where there is no competition and in a universe where men do not fight one another. And he says this, watch the transformation of your own world as you bring yourself inwardly to the feeling that you do not want to oppose or use a power against anybody or anything. Resist not evil. At first it may be that somebody will want to take every last dollar you have in the world, but he cannot permanently deprive you of one dime, because faster than he can deprive you of it, it shall be returned to you in some way, so that it will not be long before you will have as much as you ever had before, and probably 12 baskets full left over. Whereas if you struggle to hold on to it, you may find yourself with less. So if you have the book, The Thunder of Silence by Joel Goldsmith, in this edition it's in Resist Not, From Law to Grace, Resist Not, and it's page 136. So there's a lot in there. There's a lot in there that can be, applied to, what we are experiencing right now, because there is so much uncertainty. So there's not only the uncertainty of what's being presented to us in the outer world, then there's also this groupthink or human race consciousness, right? This belief, subconscious agreement that we have as to the way the world works. Well, that's all been uprooted now these last couple of months. And it sounds like maybe at least another month or two to go. So how are we going to get through it? We're going to get through it by creating time to go within, to be still, and to allow ourselves to create some space between the thoughts, and some space to allow the Spirit to make itself known to us in whatever realm, in whatever dimension, in whatever aspect of our awareness that it makes itself known to us. So, that's enough chatter. So we'll go ahead and start our meditation. So Mike's going to turn down the air and also bring up the Om and Bros. And I will, if this is your first time watching, I'll take us into the initial part of the meditation, and then we're going to have about 20 minutes of silence. And then we'll have a guided exit. So we have an intro and an outro to the meditation. And then we have the time in between. All right, so again, let's check our seat. Just get ourselves comfortable. If you got any little scratches you need to itch, this is the time. All right. Feels good, isn't it? All right. So let's just first check our seat. So I like to check and see that we've got this nice base. So in building, the triangle is really the founding principle, really, of building. It's its most sturdy structure. So we have a solid base, right? So for myself, because I'm seated, I have my feet on the ground, and I like having my legs against the chair legs. All right. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath together. And releasing, even sighing it out. Feel that vibration. So we begin by following the breath, which means we're bringing our attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. So this could be pressure, sensation of air, hot, cold, whatever it is. We're bringing our focus to that sensation. And let's take another deep breath and release. So we're just following the breath. And just allow ourselves now to scan the body. As we focus our attention on the breath, the mind begins to still. Now, even this can be interesting to observe. Because many times our mental activity is like spinning plates. So if you're new to meditation, and you've got it down to observing one thought at a time, that's a win. Even that, can you feel your body relaxing even with that? So if you want to take it a little deeper, see if you can detect the movement of the breath on your upper lip. So now let's just do a quick body scan, starting with our feet. Bringing our attention to the bottom of our feet. And the top of the foot. Moving up the leg. So for instance, I'm focusing my attention on the breath. I'm also aware that one leg is cool and one leg is warm. And as I focus on that, then my thought settles. Moving up the leg into the knee, the upper thigh, hamstring, the sit bones. Making an adjustment in the lower back, just tucking my tailbone in a little bit and releasing my lower back. Bring up my awareness to an erect spine. Balanced over my sit bones. my head balanced over my spine. Head erect, but the chin slightly down, all of it free of tension. And then there's the easy rise and fall of the tummy. Breathing easily and naturally. Moving up into the face. Sometimes we can carry a lot of tension there. So just, you feel these places with tension, just a great technique is just to take a deep breath and then an exhale. And then on the exhale, you're just releasing the tension in that area. So I can actually, in doing that, I actually feel my face releasing and dropping. Staying with the breath. Now you may feel a sensation above the eyebrows. Again, just observe. Breathe into it, possibly even a sensation of tingling on the crown of the head as the mind stills and you go deeper into a meditative state. Just something else to observe. If you find yourself being hooked by a thought thread, just observe it. Oh, thinking. Got me. And then you just take a deep breath and release it. And then just return to the movement of the breath in the nostril again. So we're going to take one last breath together. We're going to hold it at the top. And on the exhale, then we'll move into the silence. So taking a deep breath together, all the way up to the top, holding it. Release. So we move into our final 20 minutes meditation. attention gently back into the room. Staying with the breath. So let's work with this space that we've created here. So we're just going to know that the energy and light, the living intelligence, the source and substance of all things, is everywhere present. Is the indwelling presence and the outward expression. And so we're breathing in that light and substance of the living Spirit. And so we consciously now work with the breath, breathing in light and exhaling love as we imagine at the heart center, in the seat of the soul, is the light of the divine, that divine spark within. And that with each in-breath we are fanning that flame. And that we are breathing in the light of Spirit and exhaling love. So with each breath then we are transforming the body temple and enlivening and enlightening our heart and our mentality. Staying with the breath, breathing in light, exhaling love. Breathing in light, exhaling love. And so this flame of the divine that now is becoming this ball of light, a ball of light that is radiant and golden warmth and glow that illuminates, does not consume. And that with each in-breath expands just a wee bit more and then contracting a bit, like blowing up a balloon. Breathing in light, exhaling love. So now it's the size of a globe, a basketball. Breathing in light, exhaling love, expanding even further beyond the body, torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Breathing in light, exhaling love. So we're now sitting in this globe of light energy. Light and love. The living intelligence expressing. We continue to allow it to expand so that it commingles with anyone we may be meditating with in the room. Breathing in light, exhaling love. So that the very room in which we are sitting now is a field of light and love. So in this field then we see those closest to us whom we hold most dear. And we allow them to be bathed and infused with this light energy, the love of the divine, that we feel that we are extending that light and loving feeling to them. That we are including now people in our locality, maybe those who come to mind are friends, our favorite cashier, the mailman, and the structures that support them. That we're breathing in light and exhaling love and holding all of them, opening the heart and holding all of it now in the light of the divine, expressing as each one of us. For our community, for our city of Los Angeles, that we are holding all of that in this heart that is opening now, just feels so vast and infinite. We are holding this light and love energy now for our state. Breathing in light, exhaling love. And that we're just feeling this circulation of light and love. We feel ourselves radiating and also receiving, that we are knowing this for our country, that we are holding all of our entirety of our health system and all the various components, our leaders, this idea of government, which is you and me, in consciousness, in agreement for our planet as well. Because we are working now with the infinite heart and the infinite mind of the divine, bound only by our imagination. So we are opening up to this now. As we together are creating a field of infinite possibilities that has at its root the infinite mind of the Spirit itself. Breathing in light and exhaling love, so that we are radiating this love and we are feeling this love coming back to us. So that finally then, we know for ourselves that we are being loved and held in love by the infinite heart, the sacred heart of the divine itself. That we are being raised in mind by the living intelligence that is infinite in nature. So from this place, and we know that there is only one thing going on, God and nothing else. That there is but one power, not two powers. Not good over evil, good only, God. One power, one presence, one source. One light, one life, one living intelligence, impressing, expressing as all of creation in the ways seen and unseen in a multi-dimensional way, that we know that the infinite, the divine, is expressing in, through, and as all of it. And so we claim and embrace this idea that we are experiencing this oneness, so that in this moment we confidently express our heart's desire for continued immunity from defilements of any kind from our mentality, the body temple, within our relationships, or even creative expression, that all of it is a free-flowing expression of divine goodness. And so whatever cares or concerns we may have brought to this meditation here this evening, we're just taking a deep breath And releasing all of that now into this field of mind. And so in doing so, we are releasing it to its divine unfoldment, knowing that our word has power, that our word is spiritual law, for it is impressing itself even now upon the mind of the living Spirit that knows only to say, yes, my beloved, yes. So we release it to its divine unfoldment. And so when we hit the pillow tonight, we do so with a sense of deep rest, with a deep sense of knowing that we have enough because we are enough. That we hit the pillow, drifting easily off to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, having sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling refreshed and revitalized and excited to take on a new day. That we recognize that for which we are called to do, and that we meet that calling easily with clarity, focus, grace, and ease. And that we embrace any sense of challenge without struggle. We resist not. And feel a sense of achievement at the end of the day for a job well done. And for a universe that is compensating us richly in kind. So we just release all of it now, knowing it's done, taking a deep breath. Release. And so it is. Amen. So if you're still on, and you'd like to support this meditation with a donation, you can find us on Facebook at Center for Spiritual Living -CSL Granada Hills. You can find us on YouTube. If you go up into that blue space off to the right-hand side, you'll find an icon for PayPal. Or you can just remember us next time you're doing your bill pay and just put CSLGH into the memo. And you can make a notation for the meditation or however you're feeling supported by the center. Because I know that I'm feeling supported by you. I want you to know that that is deeply appreciated because we couldn't do this gig without you. So you can join us 10:30 Sunday morning. We'll be here with Ken Francis, our music director. Jason's backing him up, and then we got Mike and Evan holding down the AV out in the back there. And of course we have our assistant minister, Reverend Nancy Woods, who will be joining me and joining you. So we'll see you then. Peace and blessings. Stay strong. Stay safe. And I'll see you Sunday. Bye now.